talk about the times we almost died. This is shit talk on Tid Talk. Ooh, wow, wowie, zowie, bah! Ooby dooby ding dong, bark, bark, bark. Shit talk on Tid Talk.
Shit talk on Tid Talk. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Shit talk on Tid Talk.
And just like that, wow. Amazing lighting work there, Mike. How are you, buddy?
I'm in the spotlight.
Are you just getting home
I am.
to the home studio, I should say?
I am, yeah. And in fact, during the show, by the end of the show, I hope to be set up in the studio doing it from the studio. So
Okay.
if you don't mind, stay with me while we set up. How's it going, guys?
It's going good, except for your mic sucks on your phone there.
I think it's me actually. I'm getting echo for some reason.
Well, I don't know where you're getting an echo from, but that's crazy stuff. But this is the beautiful thing about starting early. Is everything was absolutely fine. Or maybe it's me.
Ah. All right. Well, you know what? I hope that I'm not screwing things up here on you. Can you hear me now? All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Although Tid, you're quite quiet.
I know. That's because I've got to do some of this.
Okay. Maybe I'm screwing it up. I'll leave. I'll see you in the studio.
And now, just like that, it's gone.
Right? I had my for some reason I had sound like coming out of the speakers. I was like, oh, I guess I don't need headphones.
It was clearly from his phone, I would imagine. Oh, that's way too friggin' huge. Could you imagine if that was a thing? All right, there we go. That's too much me and not enough you.
It's too much of everything.
All right, what's going on, Bobby?
The usual. Working, living, played shows. Did a seminar with Speedball Bailey. That was pretty cool on Sunday.
Nice. Did you learn lots?
I learned a bit more about wrestling than I did about refereeing, but I suppose it's all part of the thing. But I didn't really train a lot of wrestling like structure. Structure is the word I'm looking for. So that was very interesting to learn Speedball's perspective and kind of watch as the group and referee as the group worked out these sequences amongst themselves. So that was definitely a worthwhile experience, 100%.
Get blown up?
Not as bad as I thought I was going to, considering my recent inactivity. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually wasn't expecting to do anything physical, so I just wore jeans, and then I was reffing in jeans. So
Oh, as opposed to a thong.
Yeah, I could have just stripped down to my tighties, but
All right, that's fair. Mike's trying to check in again. Shall we check in and see if he's any better?
Why not? You take a sip of some Showa peepees.
Hi, Mike.
Hey. You know what you just missed?
Nope. Still not good. Still not good.
You know what we just missed? Mike clipping the mic.
Oh my goodness. Mike on the mic is not what we like. I'll tell you that right now, suckers. Go get your stuff set up there. All right, you listen. Oh, you know what we forgot? Shit, that's why it sounds so weird. I forgot. There we go. We forgot the mute. See, this is what happens when Brady doesn't fucking show up at the beginning. He's He's got stuff going on, right? But there's none of the cool vibey shit going on in the background.
Come on, Brady.
Right? It's wild. And now that time is over. So all right, we're out of here with that. That's crazy. Holy Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, I see you there now. I see you there now. All right. LMFAO. Are they a band?
I think so.
Are they good?
Don't think so.
Oh.
They
Oh,
might be.
is that that dude with the fucking glasses and the nice fucking hair?
Sounds about right.
Hey, I think I seen him on a TV show, one of them like fish tank fucking shows or some shit like that. Not fish tank. That would have been fucking cool as shit. But it was one of those shows like these guys that build fish tanks for celebrities. Sometimes I watch weird shit when I'm
Oh, that
high.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
What was the last weird shit you watched when you were high and didn't even realize you were watching it?
Oh fuck! What was that weird? Oh, I watched a movie called Brain Damage. Made by the same dude who did Basket Case. If either of those films ring a bell.
Well, Basket Case for sure.
Yeah, so it's the same dude that did Basket Case. It was after Basket Case, and it's one of those movies where I was not expecting it to be what it was, and I was like pissing myself laughing the whole time.
I may have watched Basket Case on beta.
Oh, nice.
That's how fucking old I am, dude.
I've watched like Clockwork Orange on beta.
I recently watched this movie called A Different Man. Have you seen this yet?
Nope.
All right. I don't know a lot of the people in it. Michael Shannon is in it briefly. That's probably the biggest, most recognizable name or whatever. But it's about this. It's about a gentleman who's got this massive deformity. You know, like a John Merrick elephantitis type thing or whatever. Hates his life. Wants to change. Medical science gives him the ability to do this from this company or whatever. Boom, goes through this transformation. Not even recognizable people are looking for him or whatever. Can't, he's like, nah, that dude don't live here no more. He gone. In the meantime, and when all this is, when he's still like, meets this neighbor girl who's a playwright. She ends up after the fact. He's like, even to her, no, that dude's gone. He dead. Gone. She writes an off-Broadway play for it. Well, he's also an aspiring actor. Now he wants to try to be in the play. And he's got the mask that he wears to do this, and nobody knows that it's one and the same. And a real dude who's got this thing comes along and kind of like befriends and weasels out, and this thing becomes super popular and hip, and he didn't want that position in the first place. And it's one of these types of flicks.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Like, all right. I was into it just because there was a whole lot of that poltergeist at some point, like, ripping your face apart.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I dig it.
Who doesn't like that? Yeah, it's called A Different Man.
I watched something called Vivarium. I don't know if it's like maybe 3 years old. It's got Jesse Eisenberg and somebody else in it. And it was like a real weird concept of where they're in England. They're looking to buy a house. They go to a place where a dude's like, yeah, I'll take you to the thing. And they go there and like everything looks identical. And while they're looking at the backyard, Buddy just disappears. And then when they're trying to leave, they can't. Like no matter where they go, they're in this neighborhood. And then a kid shows up, a baby shows up in a box on their doorstep. It says, raise it and be released. And like food just shows up in boxes. Yeah, it's pretty weird and interesting. It was definitely worth a watch. And the kid grows super fast. And the way the kid's voice is a combination of their two voices. Like it's really fucking weird. Yeah.
What kid?
No, it was Alien Kid.
Fucking alien kids.
Yep. Basically, the aliens make you raise their kids for them and teach them about humans and stuff. It's really fucking weird. Like the kid, they're banging and the kid's like in the closet, just like watching them. No reaction, not even cranking it, just staring.
Wasn't even like.
Not even feeding the geese, just.
Not even cucking in the
just
corner.
Watching intently.
Really? Did they know the kid was there?
No. It's weird. Yeah, it's really fucking weird.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Well, there you have it. As Mike still tries to set up feverishly, we are 10 minutes into this thing. I guess. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? You know, I forgot to say to people right now, right quick, right out of the gate, is we have an email, Bobby. I don't know if you know that. First of all, thank you to everybody who is checking this out. We have an email where people can send in stuff. It's who we kidding? It's mostly hate mail, and like foot pics. It's gross. But once in a while we get some gems that they send in and whatnot. But right, send it all to dearkidtalk@gmail.com. Dearkidtalk@gmail.com, and I'm pretty sure that absolutely nobody is going to get back to you ever.
You know what you need? A hotline.
A fucking lobotomy? Oh, what?
A hotline that people can call and leave you voicemails, and then you can play them and insult them.
What's your number?
No, we don't want to use my phone. I've already been spoofed and gotten a bunch of, hey, you called me? No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Like, the scam callers can do that.
However, there is nothing funnier than, like when you're in the grocery stores and you see before you walk out, they've got that picture at the front for like the auction, leave your name and your bid for some stupid fucking framed thing of like fucking the Eagles. And I mean like banned the Eagles, not the cool Philadelphia Eagles by any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like some bullshit fucking things, like a Joe Cocker collage picture, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna fucking fill this thing out for sure. I'm gonna bid like fucking $300 on this thing, and I would usually, honestly, I would fill it out to Cuss's name.
Oh,
But
amazing.
for those of you that don't know, I would fill out to my tag team partner, my old tag team partner from when I was a professional wrestler. I would fill it out to him in his name. And finally, somebody got me because I got a phone call about the whole like, hey, you won the fucking thing. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. When can I come pick that up? And they set up this whole thing, and then, okay, cool. And then like, the date came and went, and they called that number, called me again, the same number I still have to this day. I've had the same number for fucking 20 some years.
You just play dumb?
No, I was like, yeah, this ain't him. He doesn't have this number anymore. Go away. That was the end of it. Done. Oh, poor. But it's a funny rib to play on somebody,
Oh yeah, you never know. They might want that autographed fucking picture of Matt Sundin or whatever. Like,
listen, the Shriners are going to make their money one way or another. They're going to be fine.
That's it.
Right? They can afford to fucking get those little tiny fucking cars.
And those stylish hats.
Dude. Oof. The Kiwanis or the Shriners? Which ones are worse? That's all I want to know. Oh, you know who's worse? You know who's worse, Bobby? Nobody's worse than this.
America, God shed his grace on thee. And with brotherhood, and with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, from purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain, America, God shed his grace on thee. Thank you, Trump. We love you here on TikTok. Come on. If you don't like Trump, get off of TikTok. This is just for people who love TikTok and who love Trump. Come on, everybody. Tell everybody to get the hell off if they don't like Trump. Love you all.
Good God.
That is a solid message, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't
like TikTok and get the hell off.
If you don't love Trump and you don't love TikTok, Go ahead and get the hell off.
The Chinese are just sitting there watching her feed, going, "Mission accomplished."
It's amazing. It's
Just keep making
unfucking
them dumb.
right, right. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, listen, we have some stuff lined up, Bobby.
Yeah.
We do. We have some. We have some memes. We have some stories, and we're waiting for Mike. Because you can tell him delaying, but I don't care. Fuck it. Let me ask you this: do people know what you do, like who you are?
Uh,
Do they know that you are like a virtuoso in a three chord band?
yeah. I played the
Kidding.
bass guitar in a little punk band there called the Dominion.
Okay.
Yeah, we're touring this weekend, supporting Bomb Squad and Guillotine. So if you're in the Belleville area tomorrow, the Toronto area on Saturday, we'll be at Seascape, and Hamilton on Sunday. And I forget where we're going to be playing, but if you check our website, it's updated with all the show deets. So that should be a good time.
Is it guillotine or guillotine?
I don't know however the proper way to say it. I think it's Guillotine, but
If they're in Quebec,
I don't.
if
I
they're in
don't think
Quebec,
they're
it's guillotine.
possibly.
Yeah.
One of the promoters is a Quebecois, so we'll see how he says it. Shout out to Bowser.
I can remember when I was playing in a band years ago. We played in Quebec one time, and I was in between songs and I'm talking on the mic or whatever. And I was like, telling them about the shirts, the merch and stuff like that, like everybody does. Right. And I'm like, come on, help support, blah, blah, blah. It was a tough ride up here. Come on. We're all Canadians here. And I said, well, most of us, it wasn't anything towards them. I was like, well, wait, no, I'm not Canadian. I'm an American. So when I was saying, well, most of us are Canadian here. Right. And then I was like, double F you, Chris, because you're in Quebec. And
Hey, that might have got over there. They're like, yeah,
uh,
damn right, we're not. We're
yeah,
Quebecois.
yeah, exactly. Well, listen, we sold out of shirts, so that was cool.
That's the most
That was
important thing.
now, do people know what you do for a real job?
Yeah, well, it kind of ties in with our topic today because I'm a claims adjuster for an insurance company, but I deal with the injury side of automobile accidents. So I've had about six fatality claims over my career, and like five of them have been within the last 2 or 3 years because it's just more people dying.
So how weird is that? Like, how does the fatality fucking thing happen? Because obviously, it's not the people with the insurance that are calling you.
Well, it's weird and it's super morbid, but fatality claims are generally really easy for me to handle. They're easier than like somebody who's got ongoing injuries. You get certain benefits in your standard insurance policy, like if you've got a dependent, they get $10,000. Your funeral expenses, we cover up to $6,000 for that. If you've got a spouse, they get $25,000. So it can only be tricky when there's like, well, I'm separated or they were separated, but they weren't divorced. Technically, they're still a spouse. I might still have to pay them, stuff like that. But yeah, usually it's next of kin that's calling in. I had one gentleman who, for whatever reason, drove into a large boulder off of the highway. And it was like, did he do that on purpose or didn't he? Because if he did, it's not covered. In that case, I'm not going to try that hard to indicate that it was on purpose. I don't have anything to. I did have some information to indicate his life wasn't going too well immediately up to that point. But I mean, really, it was like I paid for funeral expenses, $6,000, and I closed it. And like, really, it's not my money. And that guy's daughter didn't have the $6,000 to pay. So what do I care? God, I hope nobody from my company hears this.
Nah, no, but they won't. Who gives a shit? Um, anybody ever? What's the weirdest thing that somebody has claimed because of an accident, though? Like, have you ever had somebody been like, "Oh, I was in a fender bender, and now like my back hurts, I can't move my neck to the side, and I have autism."
Yeah, and I mean, okay, this one wasn't mine, but it's a kind of a well-known one, and it was a individual who was a exotic dancer.
Okay.
So you can only claim income replacement based on your claimed income, right? Like you can't say I put $65,000 on my taxes, but I made $1 million last year. You got to pay me income based on $1 million. So once this person found out that, they went back and refiled their income taxes and added $100,000. And they were claiming that they were so psychologically damaged after the accident. They were running in the streets naked and they couldn't do anything. And they would go to their lawyer's office, and this person would pop a squat in the corner and urinate, uh and like a bunch of really extreme behavior, which we were kind of like, oh, maybe they are, like so badly damaged. And so, surveillance was put on, and surveillance noticed that they weren't the only surveillance. So eventually they just kind of like started talking, and it was like my company, another company, and the RCMP were all surveilling this one household because her boyfriend was a one percenter. And it was a whole shebang. And eventually 2 or so minutes of her grocery shopping in a completely normal demeanor was enough to get it written off. But some people will go to extreme lengths, like pissing in their lawyer's office, in order to get money.
Anybody ever chase you down? Anybody ever come to the office and been like, "That's the fucking claims adjuster"?
I did get a threat a couple weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
I tried to help somebody out,
Yeah.
and I asked them to do 3 things: fill out 2 forms and send me a picture. And they sent me the picture and filled out 1 form. And I was like, hey, I need this other form. And they went ballistic because they had to walk for 40 minutes in the cold to go drop off the form. And I didn't tell. And I'm like, I literally sent you an email with 3 numbers: 1, 2, 3. Do these 3 things. I had like I went out for a smoke, and I came back and I had 10 missed calls and voicemails full of them yelling at me, and emails of text to type with just all kinds of. And I was like, wow, like what did I miss? How long was that cigarette? But yeah, it's it's a weird profession, man. Like I not everybody's trying to rip you off, but some people are, and then you have to try and stop that.
Would you ever worry and think that like you have to look over your shoulder? You know what I mean? Like that somebody's gonna like come up behind you and like not just slash your tires, but like cut your kidneys out.
I mean, they got my name, but I don't put my name too much on social media. None of my socials have my last name anywhere really. It'd probably be hard to find me, but I don't know. I'm not too worried. Most of the people have lawyers, and when you have a lawyer, they're going to tell you, don't, go assault somebody because it's detrimental to your case.
Well, but
Most of the time.
people are fucking crazy, right?
Uh the craziest one I ever had, and it was like you have to pay for somebody to come in and clean and organize my apartment because I can't do that because of the accident. And we're like, well, that's not a medical and rehabilitation expense. That's
Sure.
housekeeping and home maintenance. It's not
Sure.
it's not covered unless you're like paralyzed. Then you get that stuff. But you have to be catastrophically impaired to claim housekeeping and home maintenance. And it eventually got so bad. Like I'm not one to be like, I can't deal with this person. Like whatever, I'll deal with them. But she would call in to complain about me to my boss. So they transferred it to another adjuster. And then the other adjuster was like, this person is insane. And it went to another adjuster. And then finally, my boss had to go to corporate and be like, we're not transferring her anymore. She's going to an independent third party adjuster, and we'll pay for that. Because our companies that do that. Because she was just so absolutely loco. She's had like 4 or 5 lawyers because she keeps firing them because they tell her you're nuts. We can't do anything for you. So she just keeps getting new lawyers. Speaking of nuts,
Ah, it's the squirrel himself.
I got a mic like Mike.
No, yours isn't popping like his was.
It's not.
no,
No,
he had his gain turned up to 11.
he was
No.
yeah, he was gargling nuts or something like that.
You guys want to see some artwork?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you the man about the town? Are you out doing what? Oh, is that a
It's a
bull?
big old. It's a
Okay,
butthole.
You
Oh,
doing
yeah.
wet work out there? What the?
It's a Toronto butthole. Wait, yeah, I got my gloves.
You
I
about
just
to
got
pick
done.
up a dead drop?
I just got done.
It's a little cold for cruising, isn't it?
This one doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Uh, hey,
Just
funny story. Funny story. So, my cousin actually works at the Palace station, and was working the night that OJ decided to bust in and go up into the tower and pistol whip a dude for his stuff back.
no.
The guy that
I guess, yeah, you're from Vegas, right?
had his autograph stuff. I think it was my question about that whole OJ thing. If it's your autograph that you're stealing back, why don't you just sign more stuff?
No, I think it was like his Heisman trophy and that kind of shit. And like jerseys that he wore in games and stuff. Like I think it was like memorabilia. Like that was like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
he shouldn't have sold it when he was high on crack.
But you know the craziest thing about the entire OJ situation was that he wrote a book called If I Did It. That is the
Well,
craziest thing.
Yeah,
now it says now mind you, that book said I did it with a tiny little red if in the top of the I, the capital I
Like,
if.
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Bobby. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we do a lot of weird shit around here. And I always preface all of the stuff all of the time with, could you imagine if we lived in a world where, and then spew my stupid shit all
Yeah.
the fucking time? And
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, there's a little bit of truth in every single one of those things.
clearly.
Try to figure out where it is. All right. So here's my question. Brady, since you're outside right now in the are you in Canada actually?
You look like your name is Dmitry Berezutsky and you're in like fucking Irkutsk.
No, I am downtown Toronto.
Okay. Okay. So it's still colder than a witch's tit.
No, it's actually pretty nice of this way. I'm out walking around and I checked in with you guys and then I was like, oh, I should go in and ruin their show for a second.
You can see your breath. That's not warm.
No, I'm smoking.
Okay. All right.
Heating these lungs up, bro. Look at it. There's grass on the ground. It's great.
To me,
Okay.
that qualifies as a near-death experience.
See, if I push that snow out of the way, there's some grass.
Fuck
Yeah.
the cold.
Yeah.
No, it's actually warm. It's warm, boys.
Okay. Sure.
Not warm enough.
I'm being blocked by all the artwork down here. Anyway, what were we gonna say? What were you gonna ask me?
I was going to say, I clearly think that where you are outside is a near-death experience, but this is what we were.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in the fucking heart of fucking death.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: who would like to go first with a little tale of a near-death experience? Is anybody here had one or multiple? Because that's the kicker. And just off the top of my head, I know of 4 for myself.
Yeah, I got a few.
Goddamn. Go.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as how I'm not gonna be here the longest, I'll get one out. Just a couple weeks ago, I was in a clothing store. I will not mention the name. And a whole bunch of them Toronto mans, them tings, them.
Utes? The fuck to Utes?
I don't know who owns this
Where's
part
the
that I'm in.
Utes, bro? The Toronto Utes, bro.
Yeah, they fucking pump faked me in the store, and then spent $16,000 of dirty drug money on shoes.
Allegedly.
No, I watched that happen.
Oh, no, it was shoes, bro.
God damn.
But yeah, no, I got it. It's happened. I've been shot at before, you know, and not just from friends like playing like pellet gun tag. Like I have legit people trying to shoot at me. I've been okay. You know, if I didn't spend my life as an actor and a businessman in a different lifetime, I may have been a guy that like ran in places and did crazy things, which like on weekends that could lead to a good time or it could lead to near death experiences. So I'm very, very confident that yes, my heart rate has raced because it's thought it's going to be the last time it's beating.
We had
Nothing fun though.
well,
Nothing fun.
I've had a few, and because I spent a lot of years when I was younger as well doing like personal protection work.
Yeah.
For some people. and also running door at a few clubs, very, very busy ones. I can remember one time in front of the club, we were having a lot of problems in and around the clubs where guys were coming back in swarms. And we had a guy that used to run Whiskey Saigon had moved down to a club called Limelight, a couple of streets down.
Okay.
Well, one night they had thrown some dudes out, and then the following week, that dude and about like 10 other dudes, all with bats, rushed the door to Limelight, causing
Okay.
causing the entire neighborhood to clear. Like
Oh Jesus.
doors were unmanned because just monsters were running down to this club. Okay. So and Rob, the guy who took the brunt of it, the guy that had my job at that club, was in a coma for quite some time. It was kind of crazy. So the whole vibe was wild down there for a while. Cops were, you know, coming up a lot more. Cops were pursuing around the area a lot more. One night, we end up kicking somebody out. He got a little lippy or whatever, but whatever. You learn how to talk to people. I've been able to do that for, my entire time down there. That's why I don't
Okay.
have goals. And I managed to get him to leave, but he kept saying he was going to come back. And I'm like, cool. You do what you got to do, bro. But for right now, you got to go. See ya. Boom. And he bounces. 15 minutes later, this brown sedan comes pulling around the corner and pulls up right in front of the club. Well, you're not supposed to stop there because there's no parking there. It's Richmond. He's just got to keep on going.
Hmm.
Well, this guy's not exactly the smartest clown, right? So what he does as he pulls up is he reaches and he pops his trunk at the same time, thinking that he's going to be able to get up and get around to his trunk, right? Because whatever he was looking for was in his trunk and not in his seat next to him like he had thought. Because of what he was looking for and what he found, well, was nothing, because we got to it first, because what was in his trunk was a shotgun.
Hmm.
This guy was literally pulling up in the front. As he pulls and goes, it kind of pulls it past me. The trunk opens. I'm like, I see the trunk, and he's kind of pulling up a little aggressively. You know what I mean? We end up rushing the trunk first and rushing the guy first. But guaranteed, had it been a different people not looking, that could have been way worse.
Hmm.
Right?
That's fucked up.
That's one. That's one. I got a few more. What do you got, Bobby?
Oh, near death, man. I've had a couple car accidents that were like a little scary. I've avoided a couple head-on collisions just due to, being aware of what's going on. I've had like a couple times where I've had to pull over and just be like, God damn. Like that, like my heart was racing and like I had to physically calm down, like smoke a couple of cigarettes. Just like, holy shit. Actually, I had one last year which isn't that long ago because, we're 1 month into the year. But yeah, dude came flying around on a 2-lane road, and like it was going to Guelph, so it's 80 and everyone's going 100, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy has no space, and thank fuck I was paying attention, swerved onto the shoulder, and he barely missed me. And I'm like, if I had crashed, I would have lost my mind. But yeah, it's pretty terrifying. I've seen people die, but like when it's you, it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen people die like in crashes, or like, just like
Well,
pass away like Nana in the chair or something? Or
I was in my brother and I were in this sleepy desert town in Nevada called Las Vegas. You might know it. Uh,
doesn't
we're at
exist?
a, yeah, never heard of it. We're at a
If it existed, there'd be more stories that came out of there, but everybody knows this unwritten Fight Club rule.
yeah. So we're standing in some place and waiting to get cash out, and there's a gentleman in front of us in line was a fucking big unit. Like there's no other way around it. Like it was a large man. And we're just standing there shooting the shit, my brother and I, and this dude just collapses, like not even falls over, just everything gives out, and everything crumpled. And it was kind of like that scene in Dumb and Dumber, because for a second nobody really reacted, and we were like, check please, like, and then the commotion and the defibrillator and the whole thing. But yeah, dude was gone, just massive coronary and died on the spot. Me and my brother were like, well, that really puts a downer on the day. Let's go get wasted. But yeah, that was kind of weird. I think that was the first time I saw somebody die.
Was he looking to get cashed out too?
Yeah, well, that was the line. Yeah, no, trust
In
me,
front of
Vegas
you or behind you?
vacation. I immediately thought Sid Caesar,
Like,
Keno, Vegas
foot-
vacation. Like, yeah,
Like
no,
foot on the ticket at least, like slide
yeah,
it over.
no, there was no chance. It was too much traffic around there.
You didn't like offer, like you see him go down and you like offer real quick. Oh my God, sir, let me help you get rid of that money.
My mind was younger. My mind didn't think as quickly. You know, it was yeah. But
See,
luckily,
you were closer to a near life experience there because you could have been having the fucking high life.
but yeah, that's true.
You ever
That's
find
true.
out what the guy would have won?
Fuck, imagine he won like a bunch of money.
Everything. Like he fucking hit it. He hit it.
Oh.
He was just low key trying to, be all calm and low key about everything, wandering in, right?
Yeah,
Because he didn't want somebody to fucking roll him, right?
no kidding.
Hi, Mikey.
Hey, Mike.
We did have another Mike that was supposed to be joining, but he's I don't know. He was supposed to be setting up his studio. Maybe he got interrupted.
It's probably
Dancing girls, either dancing girls or bitchy ones, one or the other. Who knows?
Mike still married?
Yeah.
Probably just got wife distracted him.
According to my watch, he is. Anyways,
Yeah.
I had one of those times, like it wasn't in a casino, where I saw it happen. We were working in a rave, like not working there, but I had crew that was there. So I'm working the clubs, we're working another party, doing whatever it was. And then we go to check on the people that, were working the rave. It was after hours, right? And it was literally, it's down like in the area, kind of like what is known now in Toronto as like Liberty Village.
Mhm.
When it was alongside of the highway there, when it was nothing but like field and old ass giant warehouses.
Yep.
And that's what we rented out for these raves, right?
Yep.
And so we would go down to one of these things one night, and it's late, and I'm sitting there, I'm talking with one of my security guys who's there, and we're just kind of standing there, and we're talking to this dude, who's kind of like asking some questions or something like that, and we're just cool, whatever, boom, and just conversation no sooner ends, he turns and just boom, gets shot.
Oh shit!
Right there.
Damn.
Literally 4 feet away from us. Obviously, the place goes fucking bonkers.
Of course.
We're talking to the guy. I obviously knew they weren't shooting at me because everybody loves me, but there were some people that we were there with that definitely could have been the targets, or maybe this guy was. I don't know. Cops end up coming. We did not stick around for that. Nope. No, thank you. Not my business. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They had other security detail that was there to handle that stuff. We're going to go now because I didn't feel like sticking around till, 3 p.m. the next fucking day.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I witnessed an accident about a month ago. Just pulling off the highway to like where I live. I get off the highway and make a right, and that's my subdivision. Like it's literally right there. But it's like a bend. You got to go around. It bends right, and then it bends left, and then you're at the intersection. Well, I could see this guy behind me is doing like at least $140, and I'm in my rearview mirror going, "Oh, you ain't gonna get around that bend at that speed, pal." And so I just moved over to the right, and I watched him come around me and go around the bend and skid out and just doop into the ditch. And it was like I was coming back from I think a show, and I had to be at Crossbody the next day, like early in the morning. So I was like, if I stop now, I'm gonna have to like give a statement, all this shit. So I just slowed down to open my window. I'm like, buddy, you good? He's like, yeah, can't park there. And I just took off. I was like, he's alive. He's not hurt. Like, I'm not sticking around. He can deal with that.
Tremendous. I'm had my most famous one that most people know about. Probably the closest to a real impactful on me near death experience was when um, I broke my leg.
You just break your leg. It was
Well, so I mean, the story goes that I was working, running a steel company in Markham, Ontario, and the steel company where we were had a raised dock. So big trucks would come in with our material, and we would have to pull up to the edge of the dock with this giant boom that would go out over the dock or over the truck, strap onto the material, pick it up, pull it back inside of the building. And that's how it was. It's garbage, but it is what it is, right? One day, April 19th, as it were, April 19th, 2007. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon. I had just gotten off of the phone with a promoter that I was doing some work with out in like the Belleville kind of area, right? And I knew the driver who was out there that was delivering. So I go out there and start talking to him while one of my other staff is taking the load off of the back of the truck. And I'm standing there alongside on the ground next to him, and he grabs the load, straps it, goes to lift it up. The whole load ends up shifting because he didn't have the center. And what the load was 3 lengths of 6 by 6 by half-inch thick steel angle, totaling a little bit over, 2,000 pounds, right? The whole load, picture a boom coming off of the truck and swinging down to the right where we're standing, and almost like a fulcrum swings right over the angle. The bundle ends up hitting me in the chest and then comes down off of the edge of the truck down to the ground because that's where it was top heavy. Clearly, it wasn't balanced where they picked it up. And when it came down, it ends up coming down right onto my leg. Thankfully, thankfully, the it was still attached to the boom. Otherwise, the whole thing would have come down and just cut my leg off completely or killed me
Jesus.
because it hit me in the chest. As it were, all it did was end up breaking my tibia and fibula, compound, both bones through, turned my left knee, about 45 degrees to the side, and
Oh,
turned my foot sideways and upside down to where I could see the bottom of my toes.
oh, fucking hell.
The crazy part was they call, okay. I'm like, call an ambulance. They call an ambulance. One of the other guys comes out with a rag and lays it over my leg because he couldn't look at it. I was like, you a bitch ass motherfucker. You really are, right? The ambulance gets there. And it's two girls that combined might weigh 225 pounds combined, right? I at the time am still 275 pounds at the time. I was like, y'all, okay, all right, let's see what happens here. And then the fire truck and stuff like that shows up, and so they had a guy finally who was there, and myself. They get the gurney down. I literally had to help myself to help them to get onto the gurney for it. They go to stabilize my leg. They're like, okay, this might hurt, but we have to stabilize because it was just
Yeah.
so turned and mangled. They had to stabilize it to turn it front. So when the whole thing happened, it did one of these like wah, 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 wah. It kind
Oh.
of whipped back into shape like this,
And I'm
all
sure you felt
straight,
every single part of it.
every bit of it,
Oof.
every bit of it. They get me into the ambulance. They're like, we're going to give you something for the pain. I go, it ain't going to be enough. I can guarantee it. They're like, they give me Toradol, which was like, what they're supposed to give you or whatever. And they give me the maximum amount that they're allowed to by law,
Of morphine?
right? To give me just to get me to the hospital.
Mm.
It wasn't enough.
No, nowhere
And
near it.
I'm literally going to like my second, like my first knuckle on my finger, digging it into my eyes, like this, just to try to divert
Divert the pain. Yep.
pain that was going on in my leg. So finally, what happens is you come to terms with it. Right? You're like, okay, I'm not gonna die from this. I've got this under control. And realistically, what stopped me when I was laying there, right, in the parking lot, laying there with a rag over my leg going, "Whoa," and you're fighting that feeling. I'll be honest with you, Bobby. I don't know what would stop most people from passing out, but what stopped me from passing out, and I'm not even shitting you when I tell you this, was me thinking the entire time, if you pass out, one of these guys is going to put something in your butt. That's all it took for me to not pass out, Bobby.
One of which guys? Like the doctors?
My staff.
Your
While
staff.
we were waiting for the
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. These are people that are with me every day. They're very like-minded. Like that's how Stockholming works when you
Yeah.
hang with me long enough. Like so that's what stopped me from passing out. So they get a hold of my wife, and my wife makes it to the hospital, and she's driven there by her friend, my friend, our friend Pauline, who shout out Way Cool Tattoos, now that later became Young Street Tattoos. Shout out Pauline, does fantastic work. They show up at the hospital. Pauline comes in, and my wife's freaking out. Oh my god! I look at her. I'm like, I'm fine. I look at Pauline. Dead thing. First thing I said to her, "Hey, Pauline, did you bring your camera? Because we're gonna need pictures of this." She's like, "I absolutely did. I knew you'd want it." I was like, "Good, perfect." So there are pictures of the open wound. It's on my Facebook page. You can check it out.
Like what I mean, here's the thing. If that happens to you and
Yeah.
you don't take that opportunity to get the photos,
Yeah.
like what's the point of it even happening then? At least give it some purpose.
The X-rays are there for it. They're all up there. The open wound, the patch up, the whole 9 yards. The worst part about all of it, Bobby, I'm not even kidding you. The worst part about all of it, I got to go in for surgery. When they take you in for surgery, you go through another set of doors. It's like the movie or like the TV show Get
Yep.
Smart.
Yep.
You go through doors, and then you go through another set of doors, and you're in this whole other area that has its own private waiting room area. Has its
With
own,
more doors.
different with more doors into the surgery rooms. Right. And the worst part is I'm there. I'm laying in the gurney. Wife's standing there next to me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, oh boy. You start to get nervous. And you know what happens as a guy when you start to get nervous and you're thinking about these things, right? Like, I gotta pee. Ah, shit. I look at Kelly, and I'm like, I gotta pee. She's like, I'm okay, I'll get a nurse, right? So she grabs a nurse. She's like, he's got to pee. She's like, no problem. Be right back. Boom. Jams out for like 2 minutes. Comes back in. I can see her coming down, the way the gurney's position. Kelly kind of meets her to like she comes with the jug, kind of like reaches out to meet her with the jug or whatever. Nurse completely bypasses her, reaches under the blanket, grabs a handhold, boom, shoves it into the jug and just kind of leaves it there and walks away, pulls the blanket back over the top. I'm like, huh. I don't got to pee anymore now.
Well, I mean, so kind of unrelated, but somebody was asking me, what do referees actually do in pro wrestling? I'm like, there's all kinds of things. And I'm like, here, take a look at this clip of Ric Flair giving a suplex to Nikita Koloff. Sometimes things happen and referees have to think on the spot. We have a variety of duties. You know exactly the spot I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to hold teeth.
That's it. So,
I've seen that happen too. Sometimes you have to hold Jake Roberts' teeth.
I mean, I had this isn't death, but it could be depending on how you view things. And it's not me, but this is my guitar player, my drummer, I should say. He was at work one day doing CPR training and starts getting a pain in his lower genitalia area. And he's like, well, that's odd. Just like a sudden pain. And so it doesn't go away. It's getting worse and worse. After a little while, he goes, you know what? I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to the hospital. Diagnosis: spontaneous testicular torsion. Emergency surgery. Almost lost one. Apparently they can just start twisting spontaneously. I'm like, I'd rather spontaneously combust than have that happen to me. Yeah.
We got found not guilty on a aggravated assault charge, and I say we because there was a group of us one time working door at a club because a guy came. We kicked him out. He came back, and he came back with a lead pipe, and somebody defended themselves and kicked this guy, right, to get the pipe away from him. And when they kicked him, he ended up possibly taking one right into the genitalia. So when it came time to go to court, because the whole crew got charged, when it came time to go to court, he showed up, and he was there, and he had pictures. And he had pictures of, like, he had to go in for exploratory surgery because one of his testicles wouldn't unlodge. It got kicked all the way
right up into his abdomen.
Right, all the way. Like, that's how he ended up with an Adam's apple, I guess. So, he had these pictures of the surgery and the after and the healing, and they were like Polaroids. That's how long ago this was. Don't fucking judge me. It's probably best that it wasn't on a phone with video. Thank you very much.
I remember I had a film camera.
All right. So Polaroids. So, and the judge, and they asked, like, because this wasn't taken from an angle where he took the pictures, right? And he didn't have a girlfriend. He said that, right? And his mom didn't take him. His dad didn't take them. No, his buddy Steve took them. And he was like, I called up my buddy Steve to come over and take the pictures. He's also a witness. He's back over there. Steve was in the courtroom that day as well as the photographer in question. Yes, Your Honor, I have vast experience of taking Polaroids of my friend's balls. What the fuck, Steve?
We have had that happen where people have claimed that since their car accident, they can no longer perform, and that's a part of the basis of their impairment.
Oh, go get your T levels checked. Take a Cialis.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what a time, dude. Like, people don't even remember the impotence used to be like a thing. Used to be able to make fun of dudes because they couldn't get. Now that's a thing of the past.
I don't understand why anybody could ever do that. Not get it up. Yeah, Steve. Yellowstone. You're damn right he was THT. He was from Yellowstone all day.
Fucking Yellowstone. Why do I keep hearing about this show?
Steve from Yellowstone, or
just Yellowstone?
Yellowstone.
Everyone's talking about
it. Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. One has nothing to do with the other, and that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Oh yes. Oh shit. That's right. I forgot. I was sent instructions. Apparently, there is a video to kind of explain some of this. Shall we check it out together? I haven't watched this. You haven't watched this. Nobody has watched this, and it's just us here. Jamie, the producer, is not even around tonight, so we're just kind of like flying by the seat of our pants. Okay, I got to play a couple of things first here before we do that, because I must make sure that everybody knows this.
Oh, fuck. Don't get me canceled.
Okay, the views, okay, are there. If I'm just saying, all right. But I mean, let's.
Ha! Come on! I'm on the phone! Sorry. That's not fucking funny! Here, take it, Stephen! Right. I'm gonna put my jaw by the way up my mouth so much. Stop, this is good. Cam, my neck, I swear to God, I've just got a bit again. Ready? That's a bit. I'm going.
Yeah, for someone with no neck, he has an incredible range of motion in his neck.
Bro, that dude is getting some whiplash.
I
Ladies and gentlemen,
feel bad for him.
from Stone Yellow. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, listen, Bobby. I've even got more near-death experience stuff. Near-death Steve, as it were. There. Yeah, most definitely near-death Steve.
Steve.
The problem is, Bobby, is that I lived this life before that put me into way too many of these situations.
Mm.
You know, I working security stuff for as many years as I did, private stuff. You end up agreeing to things that normal people wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of it because it got to the point where we weren't allowed to even carry any kind of defensive weapons for ourselves. We weren't even allowed to wear flak jackets or
Like
even
armor? Nothing, eh? No.
nothing. So, what was the point? You know, it went from people getting into fist fights and knowing that they got beat up and bouncing to getting beat up and threatening to sue you, to getting beat up and threatening to come back with a weapon, to getting beat up and actually coming back with weapons.
Yep, I remember that the big one I think was at the well, I shouldn't say the big one. The first one that I remember that hit mainstream news was at the government way back uh, when dude came back and I think he stabbed the guy. I can't recall, or maybe shot him. But yeah, that was. And I used to party at the government. Like that was
Yep.
wild. So yeah, it definitely did happen. I was involved in the club scene for a bit, and I used to see some of the shenanigans that would go on at the door, and drunk people really just don't know when to give it up, man.
No, no. Now, you know who else doesn't know when to give it up? And I'm so glad that he's finally joining us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a man who has finally, we've made time for him. And I'm glad that he's finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about none other than Mr. Mike Wixon.
Hi, buddy. Guys, I hope that does this sound okay? Because I don't have internet connection. I'm working off Roger's reliable system right now.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic, but unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh, well, listen, thanks for having me. How did you guys almost die? Can you recap in short form how you almost died?
I was near a shooting. I had a bunch of steel fall on my body.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What about you?
Well, two things happened. One of them was that I almost brought a murderer to Canada.
What?
Yeah, if you want to look this up as you're listening, there's a guy out there named Edward Shin, Ed Shin. And Edward Shin was a marketing guy, and I was making commercials for his company down in California. Unfortunately, Edward, before he came to Canada to do a commercial, and suddenly he had to get all these commercials done. And I was like, all right, well, I guess come on up in 3 days and we'll make these commercials. It never occurred to me that he needed to get out of America because he had killed his business partner and had pretended to be him for a whole year. But the heat were on him. And as he got on the plane to come to Toronto, Canada, they picked him up. The FBI picked him up and arrested him and charged him with the murder of his business partner and for pretending to be him for a year.
Christ, did you have to give any statements for that?
This is the best part. Nobody even called. Nobody even called. I thought, okay, well, I'm about to be interviewed by the police.
R-
Yeah, no, nothing. But
Classic.
I don't know if he would have killed me or just taken off to Alaska from here or whatever he would have done. But he was trying to flee the country for sure. And then the other time was I was snorkeling in the ocean in Turks and Caicos, and you think you're a better swimmer than you are sometimes. And I got out there and I started flailing because I was drowning, man. Like it was just, I was going down. And I saw a lady not too far away and I bobbed up and went, I screamed, "Save me, bitch."
And did she?
And she did. She saved
Wow.
me. And then when we got to, when I got to safety, she said, "Did you call me bitch?"
Are you
I
guys
said,
still together?
"No, we are not."
Oh, that's good.
Jesus.
No, it wasn't like that. It was a complete stranger.
Uh,
And by the way, I was so desperate, I think I almost drowned her at the time. So here's a little lesson to you. You may think you're a good swimmer, but you're not. You're not.
yeah, especially in open water.
No, dude, you think, oh, this is good. I'm just like, but you try to tread water for more than 10 minutes and you're a Marine. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
A little alcohol and anything else to the mix exacerbates that considerably.
I can scuba dive without scuba gear. All right. We'll see when you get back, Mike.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done the same thing. Grand Cayman. There used to be this shipwreck that we would go swim out to, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Ah, no problem. I'll just swim out there. I won't even take my fins.
Right.
Just grab a mask and off I go." Right, and which is fine once you're there and you swim around, and then you realize, "Fuck, I got to get back."
Right.
And the wind is shifted,
Right.
and it's getting close to dark, so the water isn't moving the same way. It's not going into the land; it's coming back out now, and
And
oh
isn't this
boy,
feeding time for the sharks right about now and tuna and other?
oh boy.
I
I
was
had a,
a teenager on a cruise. I think we were in Barbados, and we were snorkeling over like coral. I'm
oh,
like,
yeah.
this is awesome. Snorkeling, it's like a few feet down. I'm like, if I put my feet down, I could stand on the coral. It was very shallow.
No.
Uh, I didn't, thank fuck. But
Oh,
I'm swimming and I'm noticing, oh, it's all red. Like this coral's so beautiful. So I like poke my head up and I can see everybody's doing this to me. And I'm like, oh shit, like what? I'm looking around, I'm like, there's no shark or anything. And I was over a huge patch of fire coral. And thank fuck I didn't put my feet down. I would have been screwed. But yeah, they're like just telling me to swim back. So I just swam back. Like, what's the big deal? They're like, that was all fire coral down there. You weren't supposed to go.
that's razor blades with poison. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank fuck.
I've actually, I was in a situation, this all happens on vacation, and a guy dove in the pool and didn't realize he was diving in the shallow end and split his head open. And I was like the only other guy in the pool, ran over and like, I was like, I was like Jackie Kennedy trying to put his head back together there. And that poor guy, this was in Venezuela, and I'm pretty sure he didn't leave Venezuela. Like, there's just no way. On vacation, you can get yourself in some trouble.
Oh, dude, and if you're not careful, right, happens all the time. I can remember being down in Mexico one time, and this was shortly after one of the big hurricanes had come through. So some of the resorts weren't even open, right? And where we were staying was right next to the resort that I wanted to stay at, because it was one of these resorts that had like access. You could stay in one of these places that was on the water, so
Okay.
jump right off and snorkel right
Oh,
outside
nice. Yeah.
the room, right? But it got smashed, so it wasn't back up and ready yet. Well, and they have fences. If you've ever been down there, they've got fences in between the properties along the beach in the Mayan Riviera, right?
Oh, to keep this resort. Yeah.
100%. Well, people I'm down there with, i.e., my lovely wife and her friend, decide they're going to go for a walk, and they pay no attention to the don't cross this fence thing and wander into the resort next door in Mexico. And all of a sudden they come back and they're like, "Hey, we met a couple of the worker guys over there. They're going to let us go snorkeling. I'm like, I'll be coming with you on this one.
Yeah. That's the last time. Well, that could have been a very peaceful vacation.
Sure as shit. Get our stuff. We go over there. And here comes the dude that they met, all one arm of him and all, right? And like 4 or 5 other guys. They're all making their way over to meet these girls. And I'm just
Right.
a few feet behind or whatever. And then I kind of come walking out in front of them, and you can see their tone kind of change a little bit. And I introduce myself in Spanish, and they start asking my name. And first thing they do, they're like, "Oh, you big guy, what do you do?" And I hit them with it. And I'm like,
Lucha.
luchadore. And they're like, huh? And I start talking to them about it. And next thing you know, they're like, you girls go do whatever you want. And
Right.
they're like, here, you want to smoke a joint with us? Can you take pictures with us? Like their whole thing changed right away.
Thank God you had that.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Thank God
Right?
you had that.
Because
You know.
this is what those movies like Hostel and shit like that, this is what they're based on.
Oh
Is
fuck,
dumb fucking girls leaving resorts and hanging
guys,
with one-armed Mexicans.
guys! I just remembered another one. I, I was in Jamaica doing a little thing called Marijuanderers.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
I'm so sorry, but they. So I'm up in the hills in Orange Hill, and all of a sudden, what just happened? Oh, Tid left.
Tid disappeared, but
Oh, that's all
yeah.
right. So I'm up in the hills in Orange Hill, and I'm doing like a segment on this great bud that I found. And dude, within about 15 minutes of me being up on this hill, I looked around and I was surrounded by a bunch of local guys just standing there with machetes in their hands. And I had a former Marine was uh, my
Companion.
protection. Yeah. And one of the guys approached, and I would never have gotten out of the way on time. He jumped in the way, kicked the machete into the air, and the machete landed right beside the guy's foot, and he pushed him down beside it and said, "You have to die now." And then all the other guys ran away. And he said to the guy, "I'm just kidding. Here's your machete." And off the guy went. But not before that guy had the machete like this, right here, and it got knocked away. And I was like, "How did you know that wasn't going to cut my face open?" He goes, "Oh, no, I didn't." Oh,
Yeah, no,
thank you.
yeah.
You didn't.
Just
No.
the look of the draw.
There was no time. Yeah.
Yeah, foreigners, man, we got to be careful when we go places. Honestly,
When we go places, we are the foreigners.
that's what I'm saying. We're foreigners when we go places. We got to
Like,
be careful.
we got to be careful. You think, okay, I'm the king of the hill here. No, you're not.
No, you're
You
not.
got you got to be careful. You're unaware and stoned and drunk.
Never. Never. There's 2 words that I always preach, and I preached it for years and years and years to everybody because I live by it. No matter where you go, you have to have this. If you do not have this, you are going to get bit one day. Those 2 words are situational awareness. Always. That's all you need. You don't got to be an ass about it, right?
Just be a little observant.
Know when it's time to say thank you and be on your way. You know what I mean? Like, know what's around you.
You've known me long enough, Mike. You've been into public places with me and how I act and stand, and I always seem to try to figure out what's around me for no reason. Who the fuck am I, hitman? I say nobody's out to fucking get me, but it's just you have to have situational awareness.
Well, I think that you have a certain hyper awareness too, because I think people, because of your size, people think that they can fuck with you a bit, and I that's always silly. I remember, I remember one time we were in the car, and we were in like my dad man van, and a guy cut us off. I don't know if you remember this, and you said to the guy, I can't remember how it went, but he started yelling at me, and he got out of the car, And as he got out of the car to come toward me, you slid the door open and jumped out and went, "Oh no, motherfucker, you made a mistake." And the guy slid over the hood of my van, scrambled into his car, and as Tid kept walking to him, he kept screaming, "No, no, no, I'm sorry. No, 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 I'm sorry." And I thought that must happen on occasion. And Chris went, "That's okay, man. Have a good day," and got back in the van.
I was just trying to make sure that we were on the same page.
Yeah, he got on the same page pretty quick.
That's all. Well, it happens. It happens. I'm saying all y'all need to have situational awareness, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm aware that this situation is that. What the fuck are you eating, man?
Who?
You fucking crinkly crinkle. What are you
Oh, I'm just
crinkling?
fucking fidgeting with shit because I'm
You
ADD.
What are you
I'm just
fidgeting
like
with?
AGD. I'm fidgeting with fucking screws that I got here.
Oh,
They thought it was wrappers crunching.
I thought it was too. I was for a few minutes. I was like, "Oh man, I really could go
God
for
damn,
it."
this is a sensitive microphone. Holy shit.
It was like, oh, is that the wrapper of a crispy crunch I hear?
Oh, why did you say that?
I
Oh,
don't know.
fuck! I want one so bad now.
A wrapper?
Crispy
Yeah.
coffee crisp?
Oh.
I would love a
Crunch.
a crispy crunch. I would love a crispy crunch right about now. I would have a coffee cream, a coffee crisp. I would have a Krispy Kreme.
That's Brady's nickname in the joint.
Krispy Kreme? That's KJ's little pet name for him. My little Krispy Kreme.
Come on, we can't say not here to defend himself.
Sure, Week A's here.
Okay, all right, fine. We can.
So Brady's not here and KJ's not here
No, I know why KJ's not here.
because he's making love with Brady, making the beautiful, sweet love.
No,
Oh, what's wrong with him?
community service.
Mm.
Well, of course.
But
I
it is
mean,
what-
goes with
you
the
know what?
saying.
Doesn't want people to know, but we will know more about it on Sunday because KJ will be joining us on Sunday.
So he went
That's
like full
good.
Paddington Bear, or that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Actually, that's really. It's funny that you say that, Bob, because that's the only way I really. When I think of KJ, he has no pants on, just a t-shirt. Hi.
Well, how else are you going to finish?
Hello. Yeah, it's only my last thought.
I'm not thinking of KJ in a furry suit to finish. I'm thinking of him with no pants on.
Bunch of bald motherfuckers in here.
Holding,
I'm
hold,
bald. What are you talking
holding on,
about?
Well,
holding
you're
on to a handful of chicken nuggies. Go, go, go! All right.
All right. Listen, I got to get out of here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate you, Bobby, for coming by, hanging out, holding it down while Mike was trying to set up his studio and couldn't figure out how to set up his studio. You know,
It's not that I couldn't figure it out. Don't fucking paint me that way. But I just didn't understand.
what am I painting you in? You know what this is called when he gets painted this way?
what?
You know what it's called? It's called lack face.
Lack face? Lack of
Yeah.
color?
Yeah, it's called lack face. Lack of fucking studio is what it was.
Who writes your jokes, Brady?
No, my name's Chris. I'll send you the fucking bill. Mike, where can people get these free tickets that you keep talking about all the time?
Oh, hold on. Let me just pull up.
Fuck.
This motherless motherfucker, huh? All right, Bobby.
Yo.
What about yourself?
You can find me on Instagram at The Real Uncle Bobby B, and you can follow my band, The Dominion. Just search for them on Facebook or Instagram. The big D, that's us. We're The Dominion.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
And
for having me out.
Yeah, dude, you know you're always welcome around here, man.
Oh, I know.
We're gonna do more of these things. We've got some toy talk coming up.
Yeah.
For 90s toys and stuff. I don't know. Do you still collect and do all of that kind of stuff?
I got a few behind me, but I sold all my shit a few years back. Wish I didn't, but I definitely got some stuff to talk about because I was an only child, so I had toys instead of siblings.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do all of that stuff. Sunday, KJ is back. We're back live again For those of you, please hit that subscribe, hit that like, send a message, leave a comment, hit that dislike. I dare you. Please do that. Hit the dislike over and over. Get your friends to hit the dislike. Get your dead mom to hit the dislike. Get your dead grandma to hit the dislike. Not your dead grandpa, though. God bless his soul. Leave him alone. He deserves the rest.
Yeah, because in life she was hitting D's nuts.
Whoa. Whoa. Shout out, Grandpa. All right. The rest of you, thank you. Peace, love, and harmony. Take care. Brush your hair.
This is Shit Talk on Tip Top. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Shit Talk on Tip Top.